Hello there guys, today we'll be talking about one of the newest added cruisers into the game, the IJN Kushiro, that you can obtain for 10,000 festive tokens at the armory. So it's definitely a little bit costly and requires you to have a lot of ships on board to collect the tokens, but I'm definitely gonna say it's worth it, because Kushiro is basically a better ZAO. But what exactly is IJN Kushiro? Well, it is a mishmash between Ibuki and the Takahashi. We've got 10 Ibuki guns, they are literally copy-pasted Ibuki guns to 3mm, but with one neat detail. They have 360-degree rotation for all the turrets, meaning that during kiting you can switch sides that you're firing at, same you can do during the pushing. Takahashi hull, even though it's not really super well armored, you're basically made out of 30mm everywhere, has pretty neat citadel shape, meaning that very often you're gonna end up overpenned instead of citadel, whilst also keeping pretty decent maneuverability and, best of all, torpedo angles. However, torps have only 8 kilometers of range, so you cannot really use them as, well, something that you use to kite. You have 10.3 kilometer concealment, so you can forget about stealth torping as well. If you think that having Takahashi hull means that you have also very good AA, no. You have around 100 AA DPS on all ranges, meaning that it's not really as effective, but it can shut down fighters and like lighter things. Most of the time you're gonna be dodging aircraft rather than shooting it down. Speaking of dodging, ship is actually very fast, it goes up to 36 knots and has pretty decent turning capability. Turning circle being in 160 is not that great, but rather shift of 8.5 does just fine. The key to understanding Kushiro is getting its consumables, because while the ship has a lot of them. First of all, you're equipped with the standard heal and DCP because, well, you're a cruiser, why shouldn't you get it? But from here on it starts to get a little bit spicy, because you have exhaust smoke generator. It works basically like all the Italian smoke screens, meaning that you can move at full speed and you're gonna be covered in it. You also have hydroacoustic surge. That is a standard one, but it's not bad. Do not ever, and I say ever, try to switch it to defensive AA. That extra 70 DPS is not gonna help you against aircraft. Same goes for fighter. Do not ever equip it. Fighters are useless. Pick spotter aircraft. This will help you fight on even longer ranges that your guns totally can perform on, because Japanese 203s can perform on those ranges. They have 34mm pen and 20% fire chance with pretty decent alpha, and you have 17 kilometers base range, meaning that with the spotter plane you can actually keep up with some battleships. The smoke firing penalty, if you're interested, is 7.6, meaning that if there is nothing within your torp range, you're basically free to fire with smoke screen while kiting away if things get too heated. So to sum strengths and weaknesses of our ship: strengths, you're very flexible, you can kite, brawl and be a support. You're very nimble, 36 knots, pretty decent turning, and you have 360 turret traverse, so you're pretty comfortable to play as well. Weaknesses is that you have pretty short torpedo range, you're vulnerable to big gun overmatch, and the AA that is meh. Other weaknesses is basically on you, the player. So knowing all that, let's go over the captain skills and upgrades for the ship. First of all, the upgrades, go for recommended ones. We don't really need to go into some fancy dancy switcheroo call modules and stuff. We want the aiming, propulsion, concealment and reload. Do not mount a range. Range is not gonna help you that much. You have a spotter plane and already pretty decent range. You don't need more. For flags, I equip these, but if you're a little bit poor, as well, I'm pretty much no life and I have a lot of credits in this game, just go for the HP flag and well, the anti-fire flag. It's gonna be the ones that are gonna be your bread and butter and gonna help you perform a lot better in this game. For captain, I'm using Yamamoto Izoroku, but you don't really need to. And what we do is we take the standard cruiser build with fire chance instead of extra consumable duration time, but you can also take this as well. I just want a little bit more damage. This is why I'm going for demolition expert. We obviously need a little bit more HP, even though we already have more than Zal. We have 57,000 HP. We're gonna need every possible increase in that. Instead of top grade gunner, I'm taking outnumbered, just because it can proc very easily since you're already a kiting cruiser. Getting that extra percent in ship speed can boost you up to 38 knots, meaning that you can escape danger much more easily and you're not really gonna fight within your concealment most of the time. But both choices are good. Do not take IFHE, you don't need extra pen on HE, you already have more than 32, so it should be enough. The AA perk is gonna be kinda useless on your ship since you don't have AA to begin with. Most important perks will be the extra turning for the guns, the extra fire chance or the consumable enhancements based on your choice, adrenaline rush, extra HP, extra healing +1 to every consumable, so superintendent, and concealment expert. Since Kushiro is a pretty flexible cruiser, we have 3 basic strategies to approach a fight with enemy ship. First is gonna be very basic, it's basically kiting and dodging from a range. It's a classic IJN farming. If you're used to playing Zal, you're basically not gonna have any problems doing that. Having 36 knots of speed make repositioning very easy, and 34mm of pen with very decent fire chance makes so that you can farm those battleships and cruisers very easily as well. You can also go for a little bit more aggressive play with helping your allies a little bit with TDs, since you can always run away, kite, or use your smoke screen to reposition when things get too heated. For example, if big battleship decides to start to focus you. Second kind of outplay is going for a secure position to farm your damage, meaning that you can take actually very aggressive positions with Kushiro, since, well, first of all, you're very fast, second, you have your smoke screen, meaning that if you find yourself island like this one on Tears of Desert, you can make sure that you're gonna get there if you're not in range of radar. Basically, you're free to move around. After which you can farm from behind island, since your arcs kinda allow for that, but you need to take a little bit extra spot than if you were playing something like Worcester. From then on, you can annoy your enemies a lot, since you can set them on fire pretty easily, and they are gonna have very hard time pushing into you, which is in correlation with the third kind of play you can go for. If you see enemy approaching you from behind island, for example, or you need to really get close to actually fight them because they are rushing into you and you cannot really escape, you can use your smoke screen and torpedoes to get rid of them very easy. You can spot them using either your plane or your hydro, or if they are potato and they're fire, your torpedoes have extremely good angles. Remember that they need 1 kilometer, around 1 kilometer to actually arm, so you cannot really just fire them point blank, but well, 1.5 kilometers is already kind of point blank. you're gonna be very hard to citadel from close range due to your citadel shape. You can use it to your full advantage. Just remember about the smoke firing penalty and yeah. Kushiro has a lot of smoke screens, so don't be afraid of using them, you're probably not gonna run out before the game is over. And at the end I want to give IJN Kushiro a little bit of a rating. In terms of comfort of play, I'm gonna rate it 5 stars. This is what I want all IJN cruisers to be. I cannot really stop playing this ship, I love how it handles. In terms of power level, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. This is not the most broken cruiser I've played with. It's kinda fairly balanced. It's not weak, but it's definitely not the strongest one. It can go, however, for some flashy plays, so maybe actually 3.5 stars should be more fair rating. In terms of ship's flexibility, I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. It basically is missing a radar and the better AA to make it 5-star pick. However, being able to fit into many roles, both pushing, kiting and supporting, is already very good. And in terms of difficulty, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. Once you are able to actually get this ship, meaning that you have the tanking tokens too, I believe that you've played enough of this game to actually be pretty decent at something like Kushiro. However, you need to get a little bit used to playing the IJN ships, and specifically the IJN cruisers, to perform in it pretty well. This is why I find it the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty. So, what do you guys think? Are you able to get the Kushiro? Did I make you want this ship in the future maybe? Say your thoughts about this ship in the comments and I will gladly pop in to help. I'm fairly sure the Emperor is pleased knowing that this ship made its way to the game, and for those that are not able to get this ship this year, don't worry, it's not gonna be meta, it's just a nice thing for wargaming to actually give us. The ones that are veterans and remember Zao being actually meta. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you want more. See you in the next episodes. It's been Senpai Silent. Bye.